I mean, did you bring that on the airplane? Is that something that you left behind? You've got your own sound effect with you right now.
This is the game changer. That's what this is called right here. We've been using it on Cinephobe last couple of weeks. Zach Harper laughed when I said I was going to get one, and then when I brought it and I used it.
What's Cinephobe?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Cinephobe is the podcast where Zach and I watch movies that are poorly rated on Rotten Tomatoes and try to ascertain whether or not they were accurately poorly rated or maybe didn't get a fair shake. Cinephobe, it's produced by Anthony Mays. You get it wherever you get podcasts. We had The Golden Child was the movie we saw last week. And
nice.
Coming up now.
The Golden Child was under 40?
Yeah, man. Oh, crushed me.
How can that be under 40?
It
not only
good.
that.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't good? Your legend, The Golden Child, was not good as a movie?
It wasn't great.
What? It's a game changer.
You're right. You're right. Yeah,
I had no idea that the instrument that produces that sound looked like that.
The slide whistle.
Wow!
Like all the cartoon sound
effects. I've never seen a slide
effects,
whistle before.
You guys are all amazed. Tony is holding his hair. Jessica looks like her eyebrows were singed. Why are you
They're
guys
just blonde. You can't really see them that well.
You know when something falls from the sky in the cartoons, it always goes. That's the sound.
You're great at that.
I know. I've been practicing.
Holy shit.
YouTube. We've been watching YouTube.
We need to have a session where you just lay down those sounds for us so we can use them wherever.
I've never seen Tony so awed by anyone's talent before. He's holding his head in his hands, amazed that you're able to go and summon his cartoon, his childhood with your fancy
I've
flute.
traveled with Amin so many times, and he's never brought the slide
new.
whistle to do anything.
This
with
is
it.
new. This is a new feature. But here's the crazy thing. You asked about the airport. It is the worst because when I go through TSA,
I imagine
they pull it out and they look at it and they say, "What is this?" And I said, with all like the haughtiness of a kind of someone who's an expert, I was like, "It's a slide whistle." Like I was Yo-Yo Ma with a cello. Like it's a cello.
But what does it look like for the audience that can't see it? Yours is silver. It is gleaming.
Yes.
It is long. It is flutish. It also looks like a weapon of some
It
sort.
looks like I can uncork a wine bottle with that.
Yeah.
It looks like I'm going to release some sort of sarin gas or something out of it by just pulling on this lever right here.
It's about a foot long, right? About a foot long, about the size of a ruler, and then you whip it out, and it makes the noise that it makes. All right,
you're so good.
Yeah. All right, so we will return to that instrument.
Well, guys, I'm sorry, but I got to get going.
That's the sound you make. You're right. Wow.
Let's update some of our
got like
tournament
12 variety of sounds that he can make. It's incredible.
I think we all need one.
He's right now.
I just want him to follow me around making noises.
Slide whistle sales are skyrocketing right now all over the globe.
You like the Golden Childs? I mean, really?
I thought it was better than a 40. Eddie Murphy, that was still when Eddie Murphy was making great movies.
The tail end of when Eddie Murphy was making great movies. Like he was cashing in pretty much at that point. He's a detective looking for a special child. I mean, come on. It wasn't that good.
I watched an Eddie Murphy movie last night. Showtime. Him and Robert De Niro.
Oh, no, that was not good.
What do you mean? Was it not? Have you seen it?
Yes,
I liked it.
That was one of the bad ones. Many people listening to this right now are like, wait a minute, Eddie Murphy and Robert De Niro did a movie together, and why haven't you heard of it? That's why.
It wasn't bad. I also saw Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Have you seen that one?
Oh, that's pretty
From
good.
the 80s?
Yeah.
Michael Caine, Steve Martin. You haven't seen Dirty Rotten Scoundrels?
Why were you watching this kind of television?
He's Billy.
Yeah. Sometimes I like to browse and I like to see what's leaving soon. You know what I mean? On different platforms. And I'm like, let me watch it before it's gone. Both of those were leaving soon.
Do you have, wait a minute, you have your schedule dictated by leaving soon?
I feel pressure. I feel like there's not an unlimited number of days that I can watch this. There's a finite number of days and it tells me this is gone by March 31st. And I go, you know what? If I ever want to see Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, I got to get to it because it's about to disappear.
84% Rotten Tomatoes. Those are the fans. 88 on the critic. It's a great movie. Yeah.
Billy, you know that's just going to pop up somewhere else, right?
I know.
It might be leaving Netflix, but it'll just end up on Paramount Plus next month.
I love that Billy feels pressure from so many different angles that leaving soon sounds like a threat to him.
It is. Leaving soon, you know? I'd
That's
rather see Leaving Soon than New Arrival. New Arrival, I know I can watch whenever I want.
That's like a form of internet content. Is just like once a month, there's an article of all the things that are leaving all of the streaming services, and it creates this bizarre demand. I had no idea there was a target audience for it, but it turns out
they're not really
it was
leaving.
in my workplace.
Right, but they're not really leaving, right?
Sometimes they leave for a little,
They
then
are.
they come back.
They're leaving that platform,
Yeah.
and they might be
To
found
another platform.
Maybe
but
you
you might
don't
not
get that
have that
platform.
platform.
Oh,
Do you
I
have
see.
all the platforms? You
I
don't
have
even
no
know how to.
idea.
You don't even know
Yeah.
how to use any of the platforms.
A recommendation for the
multiple.
audience. Like, the odd, serious mark. There's an app that's called Just Watch, where if you really want to watch a movie, it tells you which. Yes, it is free. You can create a list of the movies you want to see, and it'll tell you which streaming service that they're on, and it evolves as things move platforms. So you just have a movie saved, and it'll tell you where you can buy it, rent it, or watch it on
How
streaming.
do you always find these adorably effective apps?
Yeah.
You're the king of just like, hey, I have an app that can help you with this.
He's so
It organizes
helpful.
all your files and your emails, and it's like, I want to hate you, but I love you.
Yeah.
Well, he also.
What's the name of the app? Okay.
Just Watch.
What
Just
do you
watch.
care, Stugotz? You're
I'm
not
going to
gonna
download
tune
it. How
in.
do you download an app?
Wow.
Is it the one with the triangles, the gold like triangles?
Yes.
Okay.
You know what app that I probably should have downloaded 10 years ago, but now I'm like so past the point of refusing to download it that I just won't do it, but I still need Shazam. At least
You
once
don't. You
a
don't
week.
need it. You don't need it. You go. Hey Siri, what song is this? And
But what if you're in an Uber and you're like, this is embarrassing. I don't want to like ask the Uber driver what song it is or talk to Siri.
Hey Siri, what song is this?
That's the ultimate compliment, though, to an Uber driver.
Yeah.
You're Shazamming their music.
I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to.
I think Spotify has a function now to do this as well.
What?
No,
I think so.
Shazam. You need Shazam. Sometimes I push the button on Shazam and I start singing to see if it recognizes the song.
Shazam
Does
is like
it?
an OG
Never.
iPod Touch
You should
app.
practice that right
I remember
now.
like being so impressed when it came out.
It's not just that Whittingham delivers this all in a friendly manner that makes you love him and hate him. He also sounds like he is in a video at your gas station
Yes.
pump.
Wow.
Yes. Telling you about the Just Watch app. Yes.
So helpful. You're just walking there past the gas station pump, or you're just finished pumping, and then
That's a great shout.
helpfully from the tank, there's Whittingham on a pre-recorded message, but also feels like he's staring into your soul and he's just trying to be helpful in a way that's invasive.
Similar ilk to the gas station guy talking from the video is the back of the cab in New York City.
Yes, that guy, yeah.
You would be great at that job. Or woman, yeah. Well, guy is, I use guy interchangeably. I think it might be like a regional thing, but I say, like, I call myself guy sometimes. Like
There are two things I'd love to lend my
Got it,
voice
guy.
to. One is the instructional video on an airplane. There are more than two.
You would love to do that, huh?
I would love to lend my. If anyone out
Oh.
there needs a voice lended to something, I'm available.
You get envy of when someone grabs when a flight attendant grabs the microphone. You get envy because
No, it's the video. It's like, now everyone, please pay attention to the screen in your headrest.
Okay.
you
Or
need a
an
vocal agent,
informational
Liddy.
message.
You'd be great at this.
I'd love to do it. Actually, so there's three things. Number one is that. Number two is Madam Speaker, the President of the United States.
Oh, you'd be
Oh
so
my
good.
God, I
Yeah.
would love
Goosebumps.
I would love.
Can you
Who
try
says
it?
that?
Yeah, can you try that?
I don't know. I don't know who the guy is. That like, is there a role like President pro tempora? I don't know what the role is. That like the,
President who?
So you just love that there's something
Roll
high.
of tempura?
Isn't that the Senate Majority Leader? Is the President pro
best sushi.
tempora?
It is, yeah.
So it's
Whittingham.
probably the Senate Majority Leader then.
You are simply envying the person who can be in a highfalutin, majestic setting, doing highfalutin things, starting something with an introduction that is going to portend grandness, and you just want to
Grandeur,
be
yes.
part of the spectacle.
Yes, I that for me, that guy, because we're all waiting. All the congressmen and women are
All the power.
Are there's milling about. There's meetings of bipartisan Congress people, and we're waiting. When is the president finally going to walk in? And then finally, this one gentleman gets to stand up and go, "Madam Speaker, the President of the United States," and it just gives me like the pageantry is beautiful. Like, I want to be that guy for the State of
That's
the
how you
Union
would do it?
so bad.
For
Yes.
17 years, that guy was Bill Livinggood. Okay, he was the guy who did it every
Living
single
well.
year for 17 consecutive years. Yes.
You know what else you'd be great at, Whitty? The guy who announces the golfers like at the tee box, like from Northern Ireland, Rory McIlroy. Like, I feel like you'd be really good
What's
at
the
that.
third one, Whittingham?
Third one, I discussed this with Chris Cody earlier. It was lending my voice to the intro for 60 Minutes. because we were talking earlier in the week about the Fox Nation Awards, and one of the presenters was Laura Logan, who for me had the best introduction on 60 Minutes, where she go, "I'm Laura Logan." And I absolutely love that. And I just want to, on the 60 Minutes intro, at some point in my life, go, "I'm Chris Whittingham." It would be
Tony.
the pinnacle of my career.
Tony is looking at you as if
I'm so confused by what that is. You mean stuff that comes up after football, right? On CBS? It's like the end of the Broncos-Chargers game. They're like, hey, 60 minutes. I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm done.
Except for those on the West Coast.
No, the clock's a killer.
My Sunday's over. I can't have that.
Yeah.
Sunday scaries begin with the 60 Minutes clock.
So this is what happens. This is what happens. You're watching football or something, or maybe it's, the Masters, a golf tournament, whatever. You kind of doze off a little bit around 4 o'clock, and then you wake up to...
That's an excellent 60-minute clock right there.
I wish Amin could do it with his slide whistle.
I am palpably hurt by the way you guys are talking about 60 Minutes.
That show sucks.
Jesus.
What's the worst?
Who's carrying around a stopwatch like that?
Incredible
anyway?
television.
No, it's
Bill Whitaker.
Incredible television.
What is it? Bill Whitaker telling you what's going on around the world?
60 Minutes is
a bunch of white hairs talking down to you.
It's a waste of 60 minutes.
It delays usually like, what was on after that? It was like, oh, well, now CSI Miami is going to be 2 hours late because we need to watch these old people yell at us about things.
Right, it throws your whole
They're not
recording
yelling.
schedule off.
Everything.
Everything.
They're very
They're just
condescending.
reporting the
how
news. There's
people
very
watch the
condescending.
news anymore.
There's
also
literally
only
zero
48
yelling.
recording schedule.
Good point, Chris.
It's only 48 minutes.
He gets
Get
it.
technical.
No, it is kind of a buzzkill, though. Look, trust me, I'm all here for journalism, love journalism,
Doesn't sound
love
like
good storytelling, but it does kind of harsh your mellow when you're watching, like, Bills Chiefs, and then all of a sudden it's like, and now oil refineries in Iraq, and you're like, holy shit, I wasn't ready for this at all.
Get me back to my
Your only primer is the...
So good.
That's a little too fast.
It sounded like a rat eating cheese.
Rather watch
That's
that.
disgusting.
What is the mellow, harsher mellow? I've not heard.
Harsher mellow?
I've not heard.
I
What
don't
is
know
that?
what it means, but people say it.
People say it is how she defends it.
Yeah.
All that
I don't
matters.
know. I don't know what
I'll
it means.
find the etymology.
If you're harshing your mellow, is that making you more mellow? Because you're making your mellow more
Harsher.
harsh.
I think it's
you're
marching your
introducing
mellows.
you're introducing harsh into your mellow.
Oh, it's not
Therefore,
harsh.
it's
marsh your mellow?
harsh your mellow.
Yeah.
It should be.
I am not going to take all of your mockery and just allow you young people to run roughshod over one of America's greatest televised programs.
Gets in the way.
Get
with
over yourself.
no respect. It is one of the longest standing shows in the
forgot it was
history
on.
in the history of
Be
television.
better if it was 6 minutes.
It is
I'm
still
Leslie Stahl.
it is still a ratings monster.
I'm Scott
whatever.
Pelley.
Because
Comes after
people
the
watching
NFL.
football, yeah, they left the TV on.
Do you think it's because of them?
I'm Anderson Cooper. That's the best part of the show. When he's
I'm
right.
Laura Logan.
You guys are
I'm bored.
disrespectful. Let me.
So what you just
Let's pick it up.
Mr. Speaker.
That can be the commercial break in that segment. And
That's
we can
fine.
Just pick
Yeah,
back
I'll
up.
pick it up with updating the tournament. That's a funny ending.
We just shat on 60 minutes. I'm so happy.
Are you ready, Whitty?
Yeah.
Is the tournament brought to you by anybody or
5 Hour Energy.
okay? Do you have to read something here, Stugotz, or no?
Where do you have it? Because I don't have the.
It should be in the
Can one of you guys get me the whatever the March Sadness?
I threw it away, Woody.
Sting information was. There was a sting with some Disney employees called Operation March Sadness 2.
Oh.
It was in the content.
Yeah, it was like a child sex trafficking ring, allegedly.
I got it for Stugotz. Just hand it back to me
here.
when you're done.
They named it Operation March Sadness.
But can I go to you on it? Can you-
Operation March Sadness 2.
Oh. March Sadness 1 was us.
Am I just doing March Sadness? March Sadness is presented by 5 Hour Energy. It's the one when you got to get stuff done. Pick up some today. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com.
We have not talked yet about Al Michaels heading to Amazon for Joe Buck money, according to the New York Post. We will get to that at some point during the show today.
Did you see what ESPN gave Fox for Joe Buck getting out of his contract 1 year early? A Big Ten game. You can have it.
It's the Notre Dame-Ohio State game, though. That's
a good
going to be
one.
major ratings. Marcus Freeman played at Ohio State. He was a grad assistant there. I believe that's where he started his coaching career.
You think I'm going to Fox for Marcus Freeman who went to Ohio
It's the
State?
season opener
Please.
for Notre Dame for their Freeman era new coach.
That's the exciting bit. The Marcus Freeman against Ohio State.
No, that is part of the storyline, though.
For you.
I would love
For
to
everyone.
just hear what those negotiations are like, where it's like Joe Buck's got a year left on his contract. We don't want to let him out of his contract. Okay, what's on the table here?
A Big Ten game.
Just a Big Ten game.
But it just goes to show like what the value of live rights is as opposed to all of the talents. It's one football game. 1 3-hour broadcast is worth an entire person.
But it's Ohio State, Notre Dame. Like, my guess is they'll bill and make, I don't know, like $5, $6, $7 million on that game, maybe more. So that's what they paid to get Joe Buck.
They're much
You
more
just
than that.
come up
Like,
with that
where are you
number,
just
yeah.
Well,
making
I'm
up
also
numbers?
factoring in expenses. I said make, net, profit.
Stugotz,
You said they'll bill.
These
That's-
businesses.
It's also not just a Big Ten game. It's Big Ten versus an independent team. This isn't Michigan, Ohio State,
Oh,
Purdue,
God.
Ohio State. This is Notre
over
Dame,
your- can you
Ohio
join a
State.
conference
Season
already?
kickoff,
Yeah.
hashtag
It's-
Freeman
it's
era.
a-
I agree with you. It's big
independent
brands. It's a lot of billing.
Yes. Yeah.
Not a Big Ten game.
I just think that you're vastly underestimating when you put your range at between $5 and $7 million dollars for a
Checks out.
You said bill.
Whatever.
It's worth at
Jesus.
least $6, Dan. Okay.
We were just
cigarette.
talking
You know how
about
much they're paying Buck?
it just goes to show you is what the point was, that a person is traded for a game, but I'm guessing that game is worth tens of millions of dollars.
I just told you what it was worth.
Yeah, but you don't know anything. You just go a $5 to $7 million range, and you might be off by hundreds of millions of dollars.
could be.
Stugotz has Joe Buck getting $25 for every live spot that he does
He
for the
should.
next Fox show that's coming out this fall.
Let's update our March Sadness tournament. Many people sent us that there was an Operation March Sadness 2 that ensnared some Disney employees. I don't know the details of that. What details are there to share with the audience?
So Operation March Sadness 2 was a sting which began on March the 8th and led to the identification of prostitutes and people seeking prostitutes, according to the Polk County Sheriff's Office. Law enforcement members also arrested 1 suspected human trafficker and 4 suspected child sexual predators.
But at least they named it March Sadness 2.
Yeah.
And left March Sadness 1 to our show. Yeah.
Let's update our March Sadness results in the West. Stugotz. Gonzaga was the number 1 seed and advanced. That means this is still in the tournament.
Clint Hurdle looks like a piece of gum that was chewed by Clint Hurdle.
That means that all of these are gone. Stugotz. Georgia State, number 16, gone.
Matt LaFleur looks like the male model sitting in the barber chair in a Sports Clips commercial.
That was good.
Number 8, Boise State, gone.
Boomer Esiason looks like an alcoholic priest who travels the country performing unsanctioned exorcisms.
Memphis, number 9, is gone.
Adam Silver looks like an unfinished clone.
So close to advancing.
So close. Arkansas is a 4 seed. Arkansas advances. That means this is still in the tournament.
Daniel Jones looks like an actor playing Eli Manning in a Peyton Manning biopic.
That means all of these are gone, Stugotz. Number 12, New Mexico State.
Trevor Lawrence looks like the owner of an organic granola clusters company called Hacky Snacks.
Number 13, Vermont is gone.
Wade Phillips looks like the guy who shows up to the Zoom meeting and can't figure out how to turn off the cat filter.
That guy looks like Wade Phillips. That's cheating. There's one guy you associate with this during the pandemic. Somebody who showed up for a hearing and couldn't turn off the cat filter, and it looked like Wade Phillips. What about in the West, Yukon? Number 5, gone.
Kirby Smart looks like the fellow shopper who gives unsolicited advice at Home Depot.
Stugotz. Texas Tech beat Jessica's beloved Notre Dame yesterday. That means this, Texas Tech advances.
Justin Herbert looks like the waiter at a 5-star restaurant that maintains eye contact with your wife while taking your order.
Gone in order. Number 11, Fighting Irish.
Vic Fangio looks like the guy who helps you out on the side of the road when you have a flat tire.
Montana State, number 14, gone.
Rob Ryan looks like early retirement in Daytona Beach.
Yeah.
This one hurts. Number 6, Alabama, gone.
Peyton Manning looks like what would happen if Simpsons creator Matt Groening drew a real human.
Should have been a higher seed.
It should have been higher. Duke is advanced. We're all just watching the tournament to see Coach K lose, right? At this point, that's the remainder of what we're watching here.
I feel bad for those kids, man. I do. There's a lot of pressure on those kids. Seriously.
I don't know about you. I didn't get nearly as much satisfaction from Cal losing than I think I will from Coach K losing. I don't know why. It just didn't hit the same.
Well, it's because it's the last ride, and I hope that the losing happens, but in the final. Like, I would love for him to get to the final.
The deeper he goes, the more it hurts.
Yeah. I'm
right?
kind of rooting for him to keep going, just so that the crush is.
You'll
that much
risk
more.
it? You'll risk it?
Yeah, I'll risk it. I don't really care if
I'm
they
rooting
win.
for Coach K to win. Why are we rooting against Coach K to win?
I want
guy
Duke
over here.
Carolina semifinal with Carolina beating Duke. I think that's possible.
Oh.
Yeah, again, a second time.
You like Duke?
I don't like Duke, but I don't understand. I don't hate Coach
He's
K.
done enough winning.
Okay.
I think
Maybe I'm wrong.
Just
Oh,
think,
Jesus Christ.
who has sympathy for Coach K?
It's not sympathy. It seems like you guys are on the opposite side of
We're
sympathy.
haters.
Yeah, it seems
Hater
like
parlay should be whoever Duke is playing for the rest
He
of the
is
tournament.
he is Nick Saban of basketball. You tune in
But
at
less
this point to
championships,
watch
right?
him lose. Yes, but the same arrogance, and they're better than you.
it's the nose. What? It's the nose that's the arrogant part of him. I think it's his nose.
It's also the hair that has somehow maintained the same shape and color for.
He has an
20
arrogant
years.
nose.
I think it's yes. He kind of looks like a bird in the
He
nose.
does. It's a good point.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Tony, I heard
not.
you say that before he
I
said
had to save
it.
Chris. He was drowning, Dano. Come on.
Duke is advancing. That means Duke is in the tournament still.
Tim Kirchin looks like a high school chemistry teacher that casually exclaims, "Whoopsie daisy," after accidentally creating mustard gas.
Mustard gas is such a killer phrase. Number 7, Michigan State is gone.
Matt Patricia looks like he flosses with fishing line.
Number
It should have advanced.
it
We
should
should
have.
just swap
should
it
have.
out
It was
for
so
something
close at the end of the game. God damn it, you were beating Duke. You were up 78-75. Just hold on to the lead. Number 10, Davidson, gone.
Urban Meyer looks like a man you would find on a Just for Men Touch of Gray box.
And this one hurts, Stugotz. I don't know why it wasn't seated higher. I'm offended that it was seated number 15 as Cal State Fullerton, but unfortunately, this is gone from the tournament.
Stan Van Gundy looks like the guy in a weight loss system commercial who jiggles his midsection vigorously while staring in the mirror and throws his hands up in disgust.
You can just picture it. Like, he's just,
He looks sad, frustrated.
he's so horrified
Oh, come on.
with himself.
Why a 15? I mean, why are we attaching that to a 15?
But again, just the self-loathing involved. I'm allowing you into this private moment. You're staring at me as I stare in the mirror. You know I'm wearing like a white t-shirt that has stains on it. And I'm disgusted with myself and you're watching me. It's like you jiggle your midsection vigorously. I've seen that commercial. That commercial gets remade every decade with Stan Van Gundy as the key figure in it.
And yet is somehow still in standard def.
But it's not just that he's short and frumpy. He's got hair on his shoulders.
Yes.
It,
But a suspiciously light amount of chest hair. Like, he's not hairy,
no.
but you see him with that shirt on with that frustrated look, and it's Stan.
You're right.
I'm also disappointed that a 15 seed did make it to the Sweet 16, but not that one.
That is such a good one. How is that seeded so low? I want to reseed the whole damn tournament to have that advance.
Can we hear
Let's
that?
do it.
Can we hear that 15 seed?
Yeah,
Can we hear
St.
that?
Peter's. Here's St. Peter's getting into the Sweet 16.
Adam Silver looks like a wisp of smoke.
I mean, that's pretty good, man.
It's not as good as Stan
That's a
Van
15.
Gundy.
It's pretty damn good for 15. I mean,
You can stay and reseed them, Stu.
No, it's all right.
Why are you disgusted by this tournament, Jessica? You are sick of all of them? You don't want to
I'm
hear
not
any of them
disgusted
anymore?
by this. What are you talking about?
You sound like you're fed up. You sound
Notre
like
Dame's
fed
out.
up with Notre Dame. That's all.
So it's just a general bitterness because you lost to Texas Tech?
Why do we have a March Sadness bracket for the tournament? Why is it always the men's tournament? Why don't we talk about the other games that are going on?
Well, now. Pretty much
Mic
just
drop.
Yeah, a lot of
Just
looks likes.
ended
Yeah,
this segment.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I looked up at the Hurricane game. The Lady Canes, they had 11 points at half.
They're not the Lady Canes.
What are they?
They're just the Hurricanes.
Oh, okay. The Lanes.
Also, Amin hates the U.S. men's national team.
He's not alone.
I mean, get in here on this, okay? Get in here on this.
This is a dangerous game. It's a little bit of a dangerous game, I feel like.
It's a very dangerous
Well, now
game.
you're in it. Now you're playing the dangerous game.
I might be flying a little too close to the sun.
Okay,
with this
we're
one.
going to stay there. Grant Wahl is joining us now, and our CEO at Meadowlark is obsessed with this USA-Mexico rivalry. And I want it explained to the audience because some of you here have been bored by soccer for a long time.
If only the rest of America was.
Understood.
Yeah.
And so, Stugotz, congratulations. I mean,
Well,
your ally in hating the men's team in America
No.
is
I hate the
Stugotz.
sport. I don't hate the American men's team, just the sport. I need goals. I need excitement.
Okay, you hate the sport. Amin hates the American men's team. We will
I
get
hate Stugotz.
to celebrating soccer in a moment. Grant Wahl is the preeminent American soccer journalist in this country. Came up through Miami Herald, Sports Illustrated, and now has podcasts with great expertise, one of which he does with Chris Whittingham. If you want all of Grant's content surrounding USA Mexico coming up this week, go to Grant Wahl at Substack. So thank you, Grant, for joining us. And just explain it to people, for the uninitiated, why USA Mexico is such a giant thing.
Well, it's the two big rivals from this part of the world, and I would argue one of the greatest international sports rivalries in existence now. And I don't think that's going over the top because these are two teams that really do dislike each other. There's a lot more than soccer involved. They have won a lot of different, they've won a lot of games, each team, so that's a good rivalry, and the U.S. has gotten much better over the years at Mexico's best sport. But one thing the U.S. has never done is come to a World Cup qualifier, which only happens once every 4 years in Mexico City. U.S. has never won here. And so this is something that U.S. fans have been wanting for a really long time, hoping to beat their arch rival in their stadium, Estadio Azteca. 110,000. It's only going to be about 40,000 for this game due to COVID rules, but still a really good atmosphere. And you only get one crack at this every 4 years. And actually, this might be the last ever USA-Mexico World Cup qualifier with real stakes because they're co-hosting the World Cup in 4 years and there won't be a World Cup qualifying campaign. And so this game adds even more to all of the storylines, and that's why John Skipper's coming down here for this game. That's why Chris Whittingham's coming down here for this game. It's going to be a blast.
Must win for the U.S. or?
Oh, for the love of God.
Well, what do you think?
It's an important question.
Yeah.
A very good question.
Thank you.
The crazy thing is, it's kind of not. There's 3 games left in qualifying. Neither the U.S. or Mexico has qualified yet. And yet they're both expected to qualify. For the U.S., the biggest game in this 3-game window is 3 days later in Orlando against Panama. You've really got to win that game. And if the U.S. wins that game, they put themselves in really, really good position to qualify for the World Cup for the first time in 8 years. If they don't win that game, that's a huge problem after not qualifying 4 years ago. So then the question becomes, do you play, if you're the U.S., your best possible lineup against Mexico at altitude, 7,200 feet? Soccer's a draining sport. And then your guys might be really tired 3 days later to play in Orlando. Or do you play your not best lineup here in Mexico and upset a lot of your fans for whom Mexico is your biggest rival?
I'm no soccer expert, but this doesn't sound like a very big game. Like it seems like there's other ways.
The
they can
Orlando
get
game,
in.
right? Is Skip going to Orlando? I mean,
I don't. Why is everyone flying out to this
Just
game
saying.
that's not a must-win?
Not a must-win.
Not a
It can't be a
must-win,
big game,
and
yeah.
it doesn't really matter. You just said it doesn't really matter who wins, and it's like,
They
wait
may
a
not
minute.
even play their best
Crazy.
players. I mean,
110,000
Rest them for the
people.
big
Just
one.
COVID rules made it 40,000. They're going to play in a silent stadium. It's not even going to mean anything when we beat Mexico with our backups. What are you talking
and
about?
wait a minute, did they get the World Cup strictly so they don't have to qualify to make it to the World Cup?
the only way in. I mean,
Attaboy, Billy.
It is a benefit, right? I mean, and so great questions, guys. I would say this. It's still USA-Mexico. And as long as it's USA-Mexico in a World Cup qualifier, there's going to be stuff happening, dirty things on the field, players grabbing players' throats from the other team, which the Mexicans seem to do a lot. You're going to have a stadium atmosphere where there's lots of stuff being thrown on the field. When Skipper was here in 2009, he got hit with a burrito, quite famously.
Skipper
It's
got
a
hit
bucket list game to attend.
why'd they
And so
hit-
that's why there's going to be so many U.S. fans here.
Why'd they hit Skipper with a burrito?
what a great little nugget to throw in because I did not know that.
No wonder he's obsessed with this series. That's the height of sports spice. Skipper got hit by a burrito.
Stugotz is a burrito, not a nugget.
Can you imagine that John is the kind of guy who, like, usually people, when they get hit with a projectile of food in a really hostile environment, they get upset. He loved it, absolutely loved it, and wanted to come back for more. And this is my 7th game down here over the years. I had a beer. A fan attempted to pour a beer on my laptop after a Mexico goal once. Thankfully missed. Didn't get on there in time. And there's not even really a press box. So even for the media, it's kind of a heightened situation here because I've got fans on top of me, to the side of me, and I'm like in the open air. And people like will spray beer in the air when they score, and then when the U.S. does score, and Michael Bradley scored a 40-yard, just amazing wonder goal 5 years ago in the last qualifier here, the place goes totally silent except for the sliver of U.S. fans in the corner who have all this security, phalanxed around them, and it's an environment unlike anything I've experienced in soccer.
Did anyone else have, if Dan had a burrito thrown at him, jumping out of the crowd, kind of like Shamu at SeaWorld, and just devouring it with one snap?
He dives in front of Skipper.
Caught that like Jerry Rice.
I'm so jealous that I'm not there with you guys. I thought you just put rice on the burrito, which made it. You said Jerry Rice.
That's right.
No, they've got me doing it like a trained sea fish.
Don't be jealous, Dan. You can go to the big one in Orlando the next week or whatever.
The must win, yes.
Why is this not a big game? I don't understand. We're sending people there. Meadowlark is on the scene with correspondence, and it's not a big game. It's only a big game when the CEO gets hit by a burrito.
I would be stunned if the U.S. doesn't feel the strong. If both teams don't feel the strong. I know it might not be strategically sound, but I would be stunned if Greg Berhalter was like, we're going to play not like Christian Pulisic doesn't start in this game. Or like the U.S.'s best players don't start here just because, yes, I understand the math of it. The math of it is go get a home win against Panama, go draw away in Costa Rica and qualify for the World Cup. But it's just like, I would be stunned if they actually did that.
I feel like this is right down Stugotz's wheelhouse, right? You're supposed to be the one of those throw the records out the window when these two teams get together, all bets are off. This is straight Stugotz land right here.
Yeah, but it's not. In fact, what I would tell you is if the coach is a good coach and he's smart, he will save those players. Don't play him against Mexico. You run the risk of injury. Play him in the must-win game in Orlando. That's the big one.
Exactly.
Yep. I'm going to blast the coach if they lose this game and lose in Orlando because the starters are too tired for the Mexico game. How about that, Grant?
Who's the coach?
You guys got to remember too,
Bradley.
in the last window when the U.S. lost up at Mexico 2-0, the U.S. coach Greg Berhalter came out and said that he thought the U.S. dominated the game that they lost 2-0 in, and
Typical.
got pretty rightfully pilloried on PTI and other places. And people just want to see this U.S. team win. They want to see them qualify for the World Cup. That was the biggest failure in U.S. soccer history 5 years ago, not to qualify for World Cup 2018. And these guys don't want to go through that again. So Chris is right. I do expect to see Christian Pulisic in the lineup against Mexico, but he's also in really good form. He's fit. So he can go 60 to 90 minutes and then come back 3 days later and go 90 minutes against Panama and Orlando. Not every U.S. player is in that situation, though. So I just think you got to be careful.
He's going to be the greatest American soccer player, is he not? Just going forward, he's going to be regarded that way. I want to know why Amin doesn't like this team, because I think we are at a crossroads here where Stugotz, who's been bashing this sport for many, many years, show me something, U.S. team. Show me. I'm tired of hearing soccer's back, even as this country.
We've had one moment, the Landon Donovan goal. Give me more. I want more moments.
Yeah.
Well, no, but their team's great.
Their team's awesome.
Yes.
I'm all for U.S. women's national team. U.S. men's national team, frauds. Frauds. Has there ever been a team in the history of sports with this many excuses? Every day it's a different excuse.
Crazy.
Oh, we didn't have this. Oh, it was at altitude. Oh, look, with all the resources available to the U.S., Grant, I don't know if you know this. I'm from Sudan originally. Yeah. I lived 6 years in Sudan. Yeah. I see, I use my soccer knowledge is impeccable up to 2006, and then I just stopped caring. But I've seen like teams with so much less resources be so great at it, and I look at all of the things available to U.S. athletes, and they always have an excuse. And then the biggest thing, this is a big one, Woody. In 2002, they made it to the quarterfinals. And I said, wow, this is the breakthrough moment where this team no one thought was going to do anything is deep in the World Cup, and soccer is going to explode in this country. And people yawn. And I said, you know what? You don't deserve it. You don't deserve a good team. You guys deserve a team that misses the World Cup. Yep, that's right. That's right. I tell Michelle all the time.
No.
Even Mitch McConnell doesn't want that.
Wow. Mitch McConnell doesn't want the U.S. to succeed in soccer?
This is bipartisan.
You can stop that sentence a few words earlier. Mitch McConnell doesn't want the United States to succeed. Period.
Is there World Cup
what
relegation?
This reminds me of? It reminds me of back in like the 80s when Senator Jack Kemp, like on the Senate floor, was like calling soccer like a communist sport, basically. And thanks for bringing me back there, guys. No, look, I would argue, to answer Dan's question first, Christian Pulisic won the UEFA Champions League last year. That's the biggest trophy in soccer, club soccer at least. And that's the first time that an American has been on the field for a team that did that. So that's impressive. Americans at club level now play for Chelsea, Juventus, Barcelona, Dortmund, all these great teams, all these great club teams. So they should be good. It's a young generation. And
I've heard it before.
They know that they have to prove themselves only at the World Cup. They got to not just get there this week. They got to do well at the next World Cup. And I think they're capable of doing that. This is a team that, by the way, has beaten Mexico 3 straight times in meaningful games. Could be 4 this week.
Excuses.
And they're starting to come around, I would say.
They've been coming around for 30 years.
The fans have a little PTSD because they didn't qualify 4 years ago. And that'll go away once they get through this week. It's like a 98% chance. And I realize by saying that, that'll come back to haunt me if the U.S. doesn't make it. But 98% chance to qualify.
I don't know. First of all, his name's Pulisic. I don't care how he wants it pronounced. It's Pulisic. We know where your family's from. We know how that name is pronounced. Where you're from. Don't Americanize it to make people think, oh, what a great American soccer player. No, you're not.
He's American soccer. He was born here and grew up
here. No.
He's born in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
The talent doesn't come from Pennsylvania, though. The talent comes from the old country.
Where, by the way, as Americans, now we're just settling for let's get to the World Cup. Let's do well. No,
Billy.
Let's win the fucking thing. Enough of these excuses.
The United States,
Jesus Christ.
Guys, this is the joy of supporting the U.S. men's national team. Is that it's so easy.
Joyless.
No, it's so easy. It's so easy to support all the other U.S. teams because we're great at everything, but we're not great at soccer. No matter how many resources we put into it, no matter how many things that we do, we're not good at this sport. Yeah. And that's the joy in
Get
it.
better.
Is you're on a journey as
Right.
the United States to catch up to the rest of the world in soccer.
The journey's been 4 decades,
Yes,
man.
and it's going to continue even longer.
Imagine settling for second place in the World Wars. Please.
Yeah, second. Second? You got them finishing in second?
Grant, your thoughts.
I would say this is that Americans love underdogs, except when it's the U.S. men's national soccer team. And then they want them to go out and win the World Cup and do what the women's team has done 4 times, by the way. And I do hold out this hope that the U.S. men will win a World Cup in my lifetime. But I always say that I plan to live to 150.
You probably have to live longer. I mean,
All right.
What happens first? U.S. men win a World Cup or Stugotz's Jets win a Super Bowl?
wow, that's a good question.
Jesus. Wow.
That's a good question.
It's kind of funny because isn't Woody trying to buy Chelsea right now? So we got a little bit of an overlap here.
Yeah, they'll run them into the grounds. And
Woody,
But,
not Woody. I'm not buying Chelsea. I don't have 2.7 billion lying around.
Woody Johnson, the owner of the Jets, is
And former ambassador to the United Kingdom, which is incredible.
I say the Jets. I would
I
guess
don't know
the
which
Jets.
way you'd go here, but Grant is again in another Mexican hotel room. Again, he's just chasing this team, waiting for it to win games that bring this team into the stratosphere, because that's what America will love more than anything. If a man's team wins and we can wrap it in the flag, Grant, that would be a huge boost to the sport in this country, even though I don't think it needs that much of a boost. I've never seen so many young people talking about Premier League in America.
No, totally. And the growth in soccer is pretty incredible when you see how much of it's on American television now, most of it from the top European leagues, but from all over the world. How many kids you see out there wearing Messi jerseys and Mbappe jerseys and all that stuff. And so I think when people ask me, like, when's soccer finally going to make it? I'm like, it's already here. And it just may not necessarily be always Americans that are providing that entertainment. It may be coming from Europe. But I do think this U.S. men's team is capable of doing some cool things. And I do think people are looking in the long term to 2026, the U.S. co-hosting the Men's World Cup, and that U.S. team maybe making a really deep run and even challenging to win it on home soil with a July 4th, 2026, 250th birthday of the United States, USA, England. Great atmosphere. I can see it right now. Semifinals of the World Cup. It's going to be great.
God bless America.
Wow.
I mean,
Hopefully there's not a Mets game on that day. Maybe I'll watch it.
my favorite moment from that segment, I mean, it felt like being a part of a cavalry, was you screaming, his talent comes from the old country, and raising a finger as if leading our show into battle. Like, we all know this
He's
is
right.
so,
I mean-
that we're going to make him American, goddammit, and we're going to make him born in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and we don't care what his parents did or his grandparents. He's America, goddammit.
You're damn right.
Why are we lashing out at Grant?
Grant, thank you for being on with us. Enjoy the game.
Always a pleasure, guys.
Thank you, Grant.
Beer-proof that laptop.